Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another YouTube video. And for today's video, we're back with another banger. Our last video was CJ Stroud and the greatest rookie quarterback of all time. If you haven't seen it already, go check it out. But you guys blew it out the water. I think we're at 1.2K views right now, which is one of my best performing videos over the last couple of weeks, honestly. So thank you guys so much for all the support on that. If you're a returning viewer, you might notice I have a different microphone. And shout out to my brother. My brother got me a new mic for Christmas on my birthday. Just gave it to me early because the other one actually ended up breaking. So hopefully it sounds better. But before we get into it, if you guys are new here and you enjoy the content, drop a like and consider subscribing. We're at 1,000 subscribers. We passed it. We've gained 50 subscribers over the last like 4 days. So just thank you guys so much for all the support. I really mean that. I mean, you guys are making this come true. So thank you guys so much. But now let's jump into today's video and updating you guys on the NFL playoff picture, seeing, how the remaining schedules are, how seeding is going to work out, who's going to win the division, things like that. So first, I'm going to start off with the AFC. You have Miami at the 1 seed, you have Baltimore at the 2 seed, you have the Chiefs at the 3 seed, you have Jacksonville at the 4 seed, 5 seed Steelers, 6 seed Browns, 7 seed Colts. Now, the AFC race is really close, just as the NFC is. The AFC is really close. So let's start off with the Dolphins. So the Dolphins' remaining schedule, they have coming up the Titans and then the Jets. They should easily win both of those, be 11-3. Then after that, they go Cowboys, Ravens, and Bills. Now, let's say over those last 3 games, they go 1-2. Then they finish the season 12-4, making the playoffs for sure. If they lose to the Bills and they don't win the AFC East, but at least they're still in the playoffs. And they might host a playoff game. Probably not, but they might. But the Dolphins definitely have to beat the Bills. That last game, beating the Bills is what they need to win the AFC East and get home field for at least a game in the playoffs. Now moving on to the Ravens, currently 9-3. They're going to win their division. Their remaining schedule though: Rams, Jags, 49ers, Dolphins, and Steelers. So it's tough. I still think they're going to win the division and be a top 4 seed in the AFC. But the Niners game, and honestly, I think that Dolphins game, I think those are going to be really tough games. I'm not sure if I trust the Ravens to beat the Niners with how good they've been lately, but we'll see about that. But Ravens lock for the playoffs. They're my prediction to win the AFC North by a landslide. So moving on from them. Now the Chiefs, they just dropped a game against the Packers that I was not expecting them to drop. Now they're 8-4. They're still going to win their division because everyone in their division sucks. Even though the Broncos are kind of on the come up, they're too little too late, right? So the Chiefs, they have the Bills, they have the Bengals, they have the Chargers, and then the Raiders. Those last 2 being divisional games. The Bills and Bengals, I think those will be really good games. And we'll see where they finish, man. We'll see where they finish, because if they lose to the Bills, and then they lose to the Bengals, but then they beat Chargers and Raiders, we'll see. They could finish the season 11-6, which would be the most losses Patrick Mahomes has had as a starting quarterback. And for the first time in his career, the playoffs will not go through Arrowhead in the AFC. My cat just jumped up on my desk. Let me get her down. This is Chloe for everyone. This is a beautiful girl. Say hello. No? Okay. Anyway, so yeah, playoffs, or the AFC is not going to go through Arrowhead. I really don't think it's going to do that this season. So we'll see about that. Then you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who might win their division. They might. We don't know, because it's very close. You have the Colts and you have the Texans closing in on that division. Trevor Lawrence sprained his ankle. Well, not too sure on his status. I'm pretty sure he'll play this Sunday, but we'll see. The only tough games the Jags have the remainder of the season are the Ravens, and then the Titans. A divisional matchup might be tough, but Jacksonville, they should win their division. They really should. Then moving on to one of the other schedules I wanted to talk about, the Texans. I think they're going to be a wild card team. Currently 7-5, right? And the remainder of the schedule is pretty easy. But they play the Titans twice, and then they play the Browns. So they could finish 10-7, 11-6, and they could make the playoffs because they're 7-5. I forget the other 2 teams they play, but they're easy games. So I would put them at 9-5. And then let's say they split with the Titans and they lose to the Browns. They finish 10-6. or 10-7, excuse me. So we'll see about that. But now the Bills. This is where it gets interesting. Bills are 6-6. They are the 8, 9, 10, the 11 seed in the AFC, but they could still win the AFC East. They really could. They play the Chiefs this coming Sunday. So if they beat the Chiefs, then they're 7-6. They play the Cowboys, then they play the Chargers, an AFC opponent, and then they play the Dolphins. They also play the Patriots, I believe. Or the Bills need to win that last game to win the AFC East. They could very well still host a playoff game. There's still hope, so don't count them out yet. I know what's been going on with them, losing close games, but the Bills could really win this division. Then another team I want to talk about, the Colts. They've won 4 straight games. Gardner Minshew is looking really good. They're sitting at 7-5 behind the Texans in the AFC playoffs. And their next couple games, the only tough ones they have are the Bengals, Steelers, and Texans. So they could also sneak in at a 7 seed depending on that last game of the season where they play the Texans. I think that would be the deciding factor of which one of those teams gets in. Man, it'd be really nice to see Gardner Minshew, lead this team into the playoffs and possibly get a win, after being the backup and the Eagles and then coming here and then the Colts drafting his replacement and everything. So it'd be nice to see. So, but now moving on to the NFC playoff picture, of course, we got the number 1 seed, Philadelphia Eagles, 2 seed, San Francisco 49ers, the 3, the Detroit Lions, 4, the Dallas Cowboys, and at 5, the Atlanta Falcons, the Vikings at 6, and the Packers at 7. Now, the 6 and 7 seed and below in the NFC are all close because, well, actually from 5 to, what is that? 8, 9, 10. From 5 to 9, all those teams are 6-6. So it's close. But first to talk about the Eagles. The Eagles, they're not a lock for the number 1 seed yet. They are not a lock for that number 1 seed. The Eagles, they have an important matchup against the Cowboys. And if the Eagles end up losing that game, it would definitely shake things up, right? Because then the Cowboys would be 10-3 and the Eagles would be 10-3, right? So it doesn't guarantee the Eagles that 1 seed, but if they win, then it basically solidifies them in that division. They've won the division. They're going to host a playoff game, and we will still see about that number 1 seed because the Niners could still get that if the Eagles drop a game or two. But the Lions currently at the 3 seed, winning their division, of course. The only tough games they have left are the Broncos and the Cowboys. So looking at the Lions getting 12 wins this season, going 12-4 after going what is it, 8-9 last season, and then the year before that, like 13-1 or something. So big turnaround for the Lions. I love what they're doing there. So they're definitely going to host a playoff game, and I can't wait to see Ford Field, I believe. I can't wait to see that place just fired up. Hopefully they can win a playoff game. That'd be great for him, for the team, for Jared Goff. I'd love to see that. Now the Cowboys' remaining schedule, it is not an easy one. It really isn't. And if they want to win this division and get the number 1 seed, which is still not out of the conversation, they have the Eagles. They got to win that. They have the Bills. It's going to be a tough game. They have to win that. Then they play the Dolphins in South Beach. They got to win that. Then they play the Lions. Got to win that. And then they play the Commanders. So it almost feels like if you're a Cowboys fan that the Cowboys have to essentially win out and they can only drop 1 game. So it's not impossible, but it's still, there's a chance for the Cowboys to still get that number 1 seed. Then the Packers. This is one that I want to talk about. Shout out to my boy Adam if you're watching. The Packers. They're probably going to get the 6 seed. Honestly, they probably are, because right now the Packers are 6-6, and this is their remaining schedule: Giants, Bucks, Panthers, Vikings, Bears. They maybe drop one of those games, maybe, but this Packers team is looking phenomenal. Jordan Love is really coming into form. He's really looking good. If you're a regular on my channel, you know I was telling people to pump the brakes on him, but he's really looking good. Still gonna tighten up on some of those decisions, but he's throwing the ball extremely well. You can see that Aaron Rodgers-esque type pocket presence. But if the Packers win out, they're going 11-6 and they're making the playoffs. So don't count them out. And then the last one I want to talk about here is the Rams. They've won 3 straight after they were 3-6, not looking too well, but they have a lot of close games. So now they have the Ravens, the Commanders, the Saints, the Giants, and the Niners. So let's say they go 3-3 out on the season, or let's say they go 3-2. Let's say they beat the Commanders, they beat the Giants, and they beat the Saints. Um, I'm not sure. It would put them at 9-8, maybe at the 7th seed. I'm not sure if it would be enough to propel them into the playoffs, but we'll see. And then, of course, we have the NFC South, the worst division in football. You have the Falcons 6-6, the Bucks 5-7, and the Saints at 5-7, and of course the Panthers at 1-11. But that division still needs their winner, and whoever wins that game is going to host a playoff spot or host a playoff game. Excuse me. Yeah, that division is still up for grabs. We'll see how that pans out, but playoffs are going to be interesting. Seeding definitely coming down to the wire. We got a lot of good games. We got Dolphins, Bills, Chiefs, Bills. You got Cowboys, Cowboys, Eagles coming up. You got Cowboys, Lions. The Niners play the Seahawks coming up. The Packers have a good schedule, so we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm excited to see where it takes us. But that's gonna do it for today's video. It's gonna be a little bit of a shorter one, but hopefully you all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as always, I will see you all next video.